everyone, this is Georgia, the Genealogy Queen, coming to you with yet another update. This week we're going to do what's new this week in genealogy. So there's been a lot going on with the 1950 census, with DNA, with all kinds of stuff. And so we're going to walk through just a couple. I might break this up into a series of videos, just depending on how long it takes. But let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and put my glasses on, flip this around, share my screen. Let's go. Okay, so we are at FamilySearch.org. That's what we're going to start with in our series of what's new this week. So the big thing, of course, is the 1950 census, and if you haven't gone through my series previously, I invite you to go back and do that as far as how to find your ancestors in the census. It's an ever-evolving project as we get closer to indexes, and I'll give you an update on both FamilySearch and Ancestry and see where we're at. So FamilySearch, you can go ahead and you can click on the Learn How or the Get Started, etc. But I like to go to Get Involved, which is right up here. And we can click on Overview, just so you can see all that. And then up along the top here, it's Overview, My Opportunities, Indexing, and they have a separate tab for the 1950 census. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. So here it is, a community project. So on FamilySearch, they're asking everyone to jump in and at least try to verify one or two families within the state that your ancestors lived or you lived. And so it gives you the opportunity to participate. Up here it shows you percentage of completion for each state, and here's the color codes, of course. And so most of them have just opened up in the last week and being available, so they're at the 0 to 24%. We have some states that are in that 25 to 49%, and then we have 3 of them that are smaller in population that are getting to that 50% mark. That actually just happened yesterday, and so we're excited about that. But just to continue this process, I wanted to show you how quick and easy this is to actually help and to participate in this process. So I think what we'll do is we'll go to, say, Nevada, right? So that way you can see all of them. So here it says review names are complete. Great job, everyone. And reviewing the document headers are complete. And now it's review families, and it's a total of 74% done. So I'm going to close that out, and then I'm going to go to Arizona. Awesome. So we have review names is 99% done, sorry. 53% done on the document headers. Get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pick one over here, and I'm going to just pick a couple different states, and I'm going to show you how to do this and what this looks like. So it's so simple. So let's review names in Wisconsin. We're going to get started. Now here you can type in an actual surname if you know somebody or know a family or your family lived in Wisconsin in 1950. You can just sort it by that surname, and it will pull up the first surname it comes across. Now there is a little bit of a glitch going, and it's showing here if there was somebody like say living in New York that was born in Wisconsin, it's scanning on the page and it's catching that, and so sometimes it'll take you to a different state than you intended to help index or verify, and you know what, that's okay. So we can do that, and you can either just go back and try again, or you just go ahead and do those 20 people and then go back and try again, right? So every little bit helps, and if you don't quite catch the state or the family you're in, it's, somebody else will be doing it too, right? So the biggest thing is that everyone participates and gives that opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in for names. I already have mine kind of on an auto set, so it was really easy for me to sign in. Otherwise, you can sign up for a free account. It doesn't cost anything to be on FamilySearch, so go ahead and do that. And now I've clicked on that, and now it's going to go. Okay, so here we are. So all I'm doing is, here is what the index said. Here is the actual highlighted blue box that shows us what it looked like. Now everything looks good except that last letter. I believe that's an R, right? So all I'm going to do is click on here, change it to an R, and hit submit, and it's going to take me to the next thing. Otter, that looks correct to me actually, just by the way Wisconsinites do their penmanship in 1950. So I'm going to go down here and click match, right? And Elizabeth, that actually looks like an S, and so I'm going to change that and hit submit. So if you need to change something, like here, I'm going to change that to a Z, because I believe that's a Z, right? You can go ahead and change it. Now there's more than one person reviewing this, so you have opportunity for you to put forth what you believe it is, and then someone else will do the same. And then as you review the next time in the next section, it's kind of like the final review, right? So you have at least 3 people looking at the spellings of these, and so hopefully between the 3 of you, you come to some level of consensus, and then they'll move forward with that. And if by chance it still is like quote incorrect from what you know it to be true, once it's published, at least on FamilySearch, it gives you the option to edit, and you can put forth an alternate name, and you can put that correction there. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and submit. And again, what I've noticed is that there's a lot of variations. Now this is kind of block spelling, but in cursive, which is what most of the pages are, the index will show, and the index is an AI that came from the National Archives and from Ancestry.com, and so it's all done by computer, and that's why we're going through and verifying the spellings. We're seeing the vowels like O and A and E, depending on the cursive and the handwriting with loops and stuff. They can easily be, misunderstood by the computer. And then also I've noticed in the, under the race, if it's not white and it's something else, in particular Indian. So I was doing a lot of Nevada Indian Reservation and Arizona Indian Reservation, which I love that was captured on the census. The IND to indicate for Native American, at the time, it's not catching on the algorithm really well. So if you do find yourself doing one of those pages, make sure that you're updating that, and so we can properly represent, right? So we're going here, and Alfred, that looks like a match. And so again, I was talking to you guys, but a lot of this is just going through. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead with that. So after 20 or so names, oh, it's going to keep going. Okay, so here we go, Dr. Hansen. The other thing I noticed is that it will show when you get into the other pages, if it's somebody who is a sample person on the sample questions, and it jumps down to those. A lot of times US will have like a capital U and a small s. Please just change that to a capital. And if they put periods in between, put those, and just to kind of represent what it is. And now notice we're just doing names at this point. We're not going over here to this other stuff. That happens later on down the road. And Norma with an A. And so a lot of times there's assumptions made as well. But see how quickly this can happen. Now, if you come across an at-home C-sheet 72, again, remember that anybody that wasn't home the first time around, they came back through a second and a third time, and they were instructed to go to start with a page 70 and start adding names, page 70, 71, 72, at the end of their segment or their section on the enumeration district. And so for right now, what we do is we actually come down over here on the lower right-hand side, and it'll say not a person. And so I go ahead and click on that. Oh, and then that's my 20 people. But normally what I do is I click on that and it'll jump ahead. And then it'll just acknowledge that. So hopefully it doesn't, if you do this now, it'll stop it from showing up further on down the indexing process. And so it'll save other people a lot of time on that second and third review. So for right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and click maybe later. If I wanted to continue, if my ancestors were on here, I'd want to continue because I want the whole page to be done and know that it's completely done. Or if I'm just, in general, just saying I'm going to spend an hour, right, verifying the index, I'm going to go ahead and hit continue and keep going. But either at any time you can break, you can go ahead and select 20 names, 30 names, 50 names, no limit if you're just running as long as you want to go. At any time you can click back or get out of it. Maybe later, I think, is great if you want to get back and do a different state, or if you're really wanting to say, you know what, I just did my family, but it wasn't my direct family, it was like somebody with the same last name, right? And so if you have a really common last name and you're trying to get like Jones or Smith in the state of like, Wisconsin or New York or whatever, you say, well, I did 20 names, but they weren't my family and I really want them. I click on that maybe later, and then I come back to this screen and I go back in, and I get started and I click and I type in that surname and I go again. And so for me, I wound up doing that like 6 or 7 times before I got to my exact family that I was looking for under the Hinskys in Illinois. When it came to Utter, Utter, in Wisconsin, there was quite a few of them. I didn't realize exactly how many of them were there. And so I wound up doing a few hundred right beforehand. So that's really the gist of it. And then if you scroll down this page, they just came out with this week. So it gives you the totals of your contributions. So far, 55 families reviewed, 7,075 names reviewed, 253 headers reviewed. And then it actually broke it down by state for me. So, you can kind of see here. And then if you just grab it with your hand and pull, you can come across and you can see all the different ones. Louisiana, I was in there for a while. And going across this way, Wisconsin, 2,000 names. Yeah, that's kind of the one I was working on the most as we go. But I have been doing actually some of the others when I see states getting close to like going to the next tier of the percentages. I'll jump over and I'll start working on those. Like Arizona last night, in order to get it from the 25% category up to the next to 50% category. That's a little nerdy, obsessive, compulsive thing that I do with that. So anyway, again, you can go down here to get started. But if you want, you can just click on the map and decide where you want to go. So that is it. We have, let's see, there is a date. I think they put out a notice that they wanted to hopefully have it done by Flag Day. And so, on the one hand, you're saying, wow, that's so overwhelming. There's so much to do. There's 51 million people in the census plus. However, if everyone were to come to this website and just do one family in the state that their family was in, this would all be done in literally 15 minutes, right? So, that's how quick it could be done. And so I'm encouraging everyone who wants to get involved or even spend 5 minutes during your lunch hour or whatever, just to, put in, say, hey, I did my family or I did my, 20 names or whatever. That'd be great. I'm going to go ahead, and go back over here to Arizona, and I'm showing review document header, and it's very similar. And I just wanted to give you a quick look of what this looks like. So basically what you're doing is you're just verifying the state, the county, the ED number, and any information that might be in here to kind of break down what that is. And so actually I cannot see from where I have this set if that's right or not. But I scroll down and you notice sometimes the computer will pick up all this little extra characters of stuff that is actually not there. And so one of the biggest things is actually just clearing it out for them. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick look to make sure, that's all showing correctly. There we go. And click next. And then here, I'm going to go ahead and type in 24th, Ruth P. Rogers. They're putting in this little comma, assuming it's last name, first name, and hardly any of them have been that I've come across, so I just take the comma out, and then I look at the page. This says 107, it's crossed out, then it says 7A. I'm going to go ahead with the 7A kind of thing, and then April 2nd. It keeps saying like April 1st or April 2nd, even if it's not. And so let me just do a quick add there to April 24th, and then I click save. And again, we can continue reviewing those headers, or we can just go back. So that just gives you a quick little look at what it's like just to review and verify the header. And what that does is it allows the indexing, right, to be able to broken down, like say, hey, if I don't know the exact location or street, or if, the cursive on the handwriting made that first letter of your last name goofy and it's just not coming up for you, and you have to search by location, you're going to be able to drill down, to the county level or to the enumeration district number. So doing those headers are also important. And then the last thing is reviewing families, and I'm not going to take the time to go through all of this, but I'm going to show you how it looks, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click on Arizona again and see if it can pull up. Give it just a second there. And so now, up until now, we have reviewed just like the names, right, and the spelling of the names. And this section will have us review all the lines across the page. And so right now, they gave me an easy one. They gave me a blank, right? And so if you get a blank or a vacant or a not at home, you're going to go ahead and go skip household. And then the entire household is vacant or no one's home. Next household. And there we go. So now it's bringing me to this one. And the first thing I'm doing is on the right hand side here, I'm just verifying that they've captured everyone. So it's the head of the household, a spouse, and then any of the children. And you want to include, even if it's a hired hand or, you know, somebody else that's in there, a roomer, a farmer, you know, all those things, and just everyone that's in that location right there in that dwelling unit, all the way up until you see the next head of household. Now, if you have a apartment building or something where there's lots of heads of household under the same dwelling number, it goes by family group, not by everyone in the building. So you want to go from the head of the household to the next head of the household. Hope that makes sense. So I go ahead and I verify that that's the case. And if the spelling's wrong or relationships are wrong here, don't worry about it. You're going to be able to fix it later. Next thing I do, they pop me back here, but what I'm looking for is, so I always go back to this, and I'm looking along the side here to see this family, what does the street names show, right? And I also kind of look down the rest of, just to see the handwriting and what it kind of looks like, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on this because it's the closest thing, but south, I'm going to put a period there so that they know it's not just a space in between the name of the street. And then it looks like TH, right? So when you fix it here, you're also fixing it up there for the next person. You can also click on other, or if it's blank, you can leave it blank. But anyway, so then you just go through and you're verifying each of these sections all the way through. If you happen to be on one of these sample lines, it'll drop you down and ask those questions as well to verify. I'm going to go ahead and back out of this and let someone else finish for me, or finish it later. But that is the gist of what's going on in this section. I'm going to go ahead and save and exit what I've done on Family Search. So I hope you get involved. I hope you jump in and spend your 5 minutes or longer. Obviously, you can see I spend a little bit longer. You know, you can do this while, you know, listening to the television in the background or music or whatever. You know, give yourself a few minutes a night. So anyway, I hope that everyone has a great time doing this. I hope everyone gets involved. And my next series, we're going to kind of go through what is new in Ancestry. Talk to you soon.